once again to Northworthy Sagas and Stories. I am your host, Tirk here, and I'd like to wish you all, wassail, good health. Please, carry on watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Twitter and Reddit. There are many saints in the Dark Ages after the peoples of Norway, Denmark, Sweden and Iceland were converted to Christianity, and indeed the first patron saint of all of Scandinavia is Saint Olaf, or Olav, or even Olav as is also known. Now Olaf, well, he was a Norwegian and he was of royal descent. Indeed, he became a king, and his half-brother, Haraldsson, was the last great Viking king to attempt to conquer this country in the Dark Ages. And, well, Olaf himself, he had an adventurous youth. He went on many Viking voyages, and then later on, when he returned to his home country, then he set about the business of conversion with zealous enthusiasm. In the end, he was martyred, killed at the Battle of Stiklestad in the year 1030 AD, when there was a total eclipse of the sun. And, well, of course, after he died, there were many miracles associated with Olaf. It's said his blood was sufficient to cure the blind and the maimed, and even bring the dead back to life. And there's a story that's told about Olaf there in Norway, and on this occasion he was riding through the dales, through the valleys of Norway, and it was night time. Olaf was on his own. For once, nobody around but him and his horse, and he found it a welcome break from his royal responsibilities. He had much to consider: the spiritual salvation of his kingdom, and this weighed heavily upon him. So, it was a relief to ride and feel the cold, nice air upon his face. However, Olaf had only just entered one particular valley, steep-sided with high mountains on either side, when he heard a voice coming from up above, from out of the darkness. "Ho, rider," said the voice. "Who are you? And which gods do you worship?" Olaf replied, "My name is Olaf, and I worship the White Christ, the fighter Christ of the North. I'm a servant of the one true God, as all right-thinking men will one day be." "Well, in that case," came the reply, "we don't like Christians around here, and that means we're going to eat you alive as soon as we get our hands upon you." Now Olaf didn't like the sound of this less than friendly greeting, and therefore he urged his horse into a gallop, racing down the valley. And as he looked behind him, he saw a great gang of trolls coming down from either side of the valley, wearing huge cloaks made of whole sheep's hides stitched together. And, well, of course, they were loping along. They were somewhere between 45 and 60 feet tall, so their stride carried them a long way, and he was only just managing to keep ahead of them. But one in particular, the tallest one of all, was in the lead. Now, Olaf, he got to the end of the valley, and in front of him there was a great fjord, Framvar Fjord, shining in the moonlight. Olaf looked behind him and saw that the biggest troll of all was by now close behind. And so he turned for a moment and he looked at the troll, closed his eyes and recited the Lord's Prayer. When he opened his eyes, that troll had turned to stone, cloak and all. And indeed, it stayed there for many years afterwards. People used to call it the priest, because it looked rather like a priest, wearing long robes. Now, the problem was, of course, that Olaf couldn't repeat the same trick twice, for all the other trolls by now were nearly upon him. He simply didn't have time. Therefore, he urged his horse into a final gallop and leapt off the cliff, sailing into the air in one great leap. Now, it has to be pointed out that at the place where Olaf and his horse jumped, Framvar Fjord is between 200 and 300 yards wide. Nevertheless, he sailed over it, an amazing feat, thanks to the power of the White Christ and the Lord God Almighty. And because of it, Olaf landed over on the other side, on top of a great boulder. And as he did so, for a moment, the boulder seemed to soften. And the horse's shoes, they sank into it at least 3 inches before the horse set off again. And that boulder, with the prints of the horseshoes, can still be seen to this day. It's called Horse Leap Point. And that's how Olaf escaped from the trolls. And it's how Horse Leap Point acquired its name. And that's the end of this story. Thank you all very much indeed for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, and click on the notification bell. Thank you.